Anyway, Rhoda D Ramone, how the hell are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me this afternoon.
Oh man, thanks for
I mean,
being on. I
sure.
did your podcast, and I love like when I do someone's podcast because then I'm like, yes, they got to do mine now.
Yeah. I know.
So
I still have to edit a release though.
it's all good. It's all good, man. Um, been a fan of your comedy for a long time. I don't think we've ever really met IRL in real life.
I don't.
Um,
I think very rarely,
I
or
think
I
like maybe
think
we
like
like
in
passed each other
passing.
and did like the whole good set like type
Hmm.
thing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I definitely friends with you on Facebook, follow you on the gram. I think that like I said at the very beginning, I think you're an adult, and like I listen, I pay attention to the things you say because you say some halfway intelligent things sometimes, and I
Oh,
think
well,
that
that's it.
and I
Yeah.
think that's
Halfway
important.
intelligence. Sometimes it just depends.
Yeah. So how's your day been going so far?
My day's been going good. It's been a full day. Got to do stuff on days like today where you drove by a baby shower drive-through.
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of a new, pandemic normal. I was doing drive-through parades.
You know,
Um,
oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I hope that's one of the things that sticks from the from the pandemic is the drive-by birthday party and the drive-by stuff because I'm not a big fan of like I mean
Sticking
of
around,
sticking around and just like getting dressed and being uncomfortable and sitting on this chair that I'm positive is gonna break any minute now.
making
Um,
small talk for the first couple minutes.
yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm kind of hoping that that's one thing that sticks for the pandemic. What about you? Are you cool with it?
It's just honestly for the people that I like. I have a big, huge family, but they're not all created equal, like a lot of people know. So sometimes I'm just happy to get in the car and do the drive by and make the big deal about it. But then sometimes it's like, especially now that I've been, doing social distancing for the better part of 9 months now, it's kind of nice to like get to see some new scenery and stuff. Like my kid is just so sick of me. He just We were gonna go to my mom's house and he's like, I just really want to stay there, but my parents had other stuff to do. But he's like, can I please just stay here? I'm like, you could tell he's just sick of me. He's sick of my face, which I don't bother. I don't blame him.
And is he still doing the homeschooling? Like, is has he gone back to the classroom yet?
Yeah, well, they're supposed to go back the weekend after Thanksgiving in like a hybrid model, but I don't think that's happening because I live in San Joaquin County and I'm pretty sure they're about to go back to purple,
Yeah,
which means no school.
Sacramento County just went back to was it to the red or the purple? We
Yeah,
got
you guys went back to purple.
we got demoted. Yeah,
San Joaquin is right behind it. I mean, I think the only reason why it hasn't yet is because the city's trying to contest it a little bit, but there's no way that it's going to happen.
yeah. It's been rough, hasn't it? Like I don't. What do you? Are you over it? Are you adjusted with it? Where are you acclimated to it?
I think in some ways I'm an introvert and kind of a homebody. Honestly, stand up was pretty much my social life, the majority of my social life. And so it hasn't been too horrible, especially to be able to do stuff like do Zoom and just kind of do the online stuff every now and again. But it definitely is getting to that point sometimes where I just wish that I didn't have to be so vigilant to just go out and go do a set somewhere if I felt like it. Or have you been going out to like social distance show at all?
None at all. I went to a couple of open mics that they had at Vince's restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
and that one felt cool because like it was in a parking lot, it was outdoors. They had the tables and chairs set up outside, and I even went so far as like I saw somebody walk by. I was like, "Hey, put my name on the list,"
Mm-hmm.
and like I didn't even touch the list. I sat in my car until like two comics before me, then
Mm-hmm.
got out of my car because you got to study the room a little bit,
Yeah, yeah,
got out of the car just long enough to like study the room long enough for like two, did my set, thanked and bounced, and that was it.
yeah, yeah. I
How about?
did. Well, I did a couple shows and then I got exposed to COVID and then that was kind of a wrap after that. Like I had to go get tested and stuff and I was like, nah, I'm done.
Wow.
But yeah, I guess it's just one of those things. But I mean, I know the secret nice thing is like nobody is really gaining so much traction that, anyone's getting like remarkably better than they were, so it's not like I accept the fact that once we get to go out regularly again, I'll probably be a little rusty or a little behind, but like not by much.
But everybody's gonna be right there,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah,
yeah.
that's kind of and so right now I'm really just trying to focus on like writing and trying to do like creative stuff and things like that. So
What when you write, are you riffing with anybody? Like, do you have someone that you could like run the stuff by, or like are you just kind of writing and then you go back to it?
sometimes I'll like bounce ideas off of people that I think are funny, or I only ask people that I know will be brutally honest with me.
Hmm.
So I have a couple friends that'll do that, and sometimes I'll post like little ideas or concepts on social media, and if I feel like that gets a lot of reactions, then I'll kind of try to like expand on that.
Yeah, I haven't gotten really. Some people are really good at like putting stuff on social media and getting like
Hmm.
they can even get like tags from it and like add to it and like
Hmm.
I haven't done a whole lot of that yet. I have done it a couple of times and I
Hmm.
think like yeah, you're one of the ones that's you're really good at it, you know, and putting stuff up and getting reactions. But I haven't done that.
Well, what I will say is when I first started doing stand up, I would have these like very long winded sets or setups before I got to the punchline. And so I think that's why when you listen to people that talk about writing where they say chew the fat or kill your darlings, I think that has so much to do with the fact that sometimes you need to say, I don't need this 2 minutes. Like I've had jokes that started out as like maybe 5 minute jokes and just completely chopped them down to like a minute, And so I think in some ways that social media is good for that, where you can just put like, or, Twitter is kind of the same idea where like a couple sentences, which is essentially the format of your joke, and see the kind of response that you get to that. And then maybe just like punch up a little bit. Oh my God, who is that?
That's Penelope. Hey, Pee.
Oh my God, she is so cute.
She steals the show.
She
She's.
is adorable. I love dogs.
Do you have
Yeah,
one or do you
I
have
do.
three?
I have one. I'm trying to get another one. My neighbors next door, I realized they have 5 French bulldogs, and I just realized that they breed them. So I kind of am putting fillers so that if they ever breed again, I know we're not supposed to buy. So I hope I'm not offending anybody. Sorry, but they're just so cute. And then I have one dog right now. Her name is Fran. She's a bulldog.
How long have you had her?
She's 10.
Oh, you've had her
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah. She's my
Oh,
baby.
and how what is the not to try to make it a sad story, but like what's the life
Oh
expectancy
my
of a
God,
French?
that's like totally taboo in my house. um, they go from about 10 to 15 years,
Okay,
but
okay.
Fran is uh, the most spoiled dog, and she's still super hyper and super strong. She can walk like 10 miles still.
Oh
So I'm
wow.
hoping that we'll get her to 15.
So you take 10-mile walks with her?
My son's dad does.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
sometimes he'll take her on like long walks and stuff.
And 10 years. So I was
Yeah.
never a dog person until like about I think 6 years ago. I
Mm-hmm.
got a dog and I used to make fun of dog people. I'm like, oh my gosh, quit like it's not a person, right? And when I got a dog, her name was Paisley, and
Hmm.
she was my little buddy. And I was already like dreading watching her grow old. I was like looking up like life expectancy, like what to expect for this year and this year and this
Oh
year.
God.
And I was already like, I'm not gonna be able to handle like watching her get old. But she got sick and died. And I could talk about it now, but I was a wreck for like
Oh.
like I put her down like on a Saturday. That Monday when I came home from work was the saddest walking into the house ever. Like just to not be greeted by
Oh
her.
no, I
It
can't
was
even think about it.
it
No,
was the
I can't
worst.
even. It's like it's such a it's like Voldemort, where we that must not be mentioned just because well, my family, I'm allergic to cats, so I never have cats. And I'm just not. My son and his dog love cats, but I'm not a cat person, and I'm like really allergic to them. And so my family has always had dogs. They've always had pit bulls, which are really, really smart dogs. But my parents like dogs, but they don't love dogs. Like they were never allowed in the house. They were kind of just like, you played with them when you were outside, but for the most part, were like, always around. And then I had a dog named Sugar Ray, and she was a really pretty black and white pitty, and she got sick, and my dad had to put her down without telling me because I was really close to her, and I just was like so beside myself and cried the entire day. I went to work. I was working as a receptionist at Supercuts at the time, and would have to like excuse myself to go in the back and cry. And so I know that, when the horrible day comes for Fran, I'm going to I'll like have to take some time off. It's going to be bad. But what a way to start off the thing talking about putting down animals.
Well, that's why you should
cut this out and then we can start now.
Well, I was just going to advise that's why you should get a second dog right now so that you're ready.
Yeah, I kind of think we're definitely kicking around the idea of getting another dog, but I think Fran's got a lot of life in her now. So.
Is your son excited about the prospect of having a second dog, or is he like, it's a dog?
We haven't really told him because like my son is on the spectrum, so like
Okay.
if we say something, then it's like that has to happen, and we have to answer a million questions about it. And so whenever we think about something, we don't really bring it up to him until it's time to do it. And so I think it's going to be like tomorrow we're getting a dog, and then we get a dog. So.
Well, that's great because it keeps you honest, right? Like you can't be like like half-assing stuff with him. Like,
yeah, if someone's like, "What's it like being the mother of somebody on the spectrum?" Be like, a lot of accountability. Like you will never. You're just gonna have to answer to every single thing you've ever done and explain it more than once. So.
That's a very positive way of looking at that. I hadn't thought. Well, I have a friend who once told me like, you cannot tell my son you're gonna do something because now you're gonna have to freaking do it. Like,
or if you don't, you just have to spend the rest of the entire day explaining why, how come, why not, and then 2 weeks will go by, and then you'll have to explain it again. And so we've learned very much to just like wait until it's time to start doing whatever we're doing and then let it happen.
Right on. I'll let you take a drink.
Thank you.
I love your purple cup, by the way. Purple's my favorite color.
Well, you're a huge Prince fan too, right?
I am a huge Prince fan, but you know what? I loved purple before Prince because when I read Stevie Ray Vaughan's autobiography, he believed that like purple helped keep away the evil spirits.
Oh, really? Yeah, purple's my favorite color too. Black and purple are my favorite colors.
Well, you know who just walked up to my door? Hold on. Jesse Jones is here.
Jesse Jones?
Jesse Jones.
Of Stab Podcast fame.
Hold on one second.
No worries. Did you get some Stab merch?
I got my Stab hoodie.
Oh, nice.
Oh, and something else.
I was supposed to get a Stab tote and I never got it. Jesse Jones, if you're listening to this.
I wanted to get him to come in, but I think he's
got deliveries to make.
And I think the dogs may have intimidated him.
Now,
I don't know what this is.
He's a cat person.
It's a patch. Wait, I got
that is cool. I want one of those.
Wait, do I gotta sew my own patch on?
Does it have the sticky on the back?
Look at this.
Oh my God.
I got stab swag. Look at that.
Stab swag.
So I was a huge fan of, still am a huge fan of Stevie Ray Vaughan, and
Mm-hmm.
he believed that purple helped keep away the spirits.
Yeah.
So that's where the whole purple thing came in. But now, I'm a huge Prince fan. And what's the great thing about being a huge Prince fan is like there's so much Prince catalog. Like
Yeah.
I don't even touch the stuff like after like the gold experience. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, but you know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about the White Stripes.
Yeah, I want to talk about the White Stripes too. I actually have the track listing because you said we were going to talk about that today.
Yes. I am a little bit disappointed that the last song on the first album, I love Jack White like a little brother.
Oh yeah, with Holly Golightly. That's from Elephant.
Okay.
It's true that we love one another. Well, if you want to hear a big emotional story about my love for the White Stripes, I can tell you.
Let's do it, because
okay.
I will tell you a great White Stripe story myself.
Okay,
you go
good.
First.
So first of all, if anybody knows me, they know that I love Beyonce and I love Jack White so much. And those are just my two ultimate, like, I love them so much. I'm a huge fan of both of them. So when I was growing up, I was a cheerleader for a while. And then my sophomore year, I got cut from the squad.
Oh.
And I had been a cheerleader for a really long time and had kind of been friends with those girls, but I never really fit in because I was always kind of a weirdo, but I loved cheer. And so after that, they didn't really have any excuse to talk to me anymore. And so I was kind of became like a social pariah and got really sad. But up until that point, I basically just liked whatever they liked. So, if they liked pop music, then I was into pop music and whatever. And the late 90s was really good for pop music because you had all those boy bands and you had, Britney Spears and all of that stuff. So it wasn't a bad time for pop music, but
great time for pop.
Right. Great time. And so I became like super depressed. I cut off all my hair. I dyed my hair black, just total like transformation of like your insides to your outside, just super depressed. And there was like other stuff going on in my life aside from that too. So it was just a lot. And so one day I was watching Saturday Night Live and the Strokes were the band of the night. And I had never seen boys like that before. I was like, what the fuck is this? Those guys are handsome. They look cool. And it totally changed my life. And I started dressing like them. And then everybody knows that if you know the Strokes, then I would say like the White Stripes were kind of like the same ways that the Beatles and the Rolling Stones were. Like they were the two high, like garage rock revival kind of things. And so then I found the White Stripes and I was crazy, crazy, crazy obsessed. So anything that the Strokes or the White Stripes did, I was totally down for. I was obsessed. I love it to this day. I still have a White Stripes poster hanging in my office that has been with me since I was 17 years old. And then as time went on, my love for the Strokes kind of started dying out a little bit, but my love for the White Stripes just kept growing. And so I'm still a huge fan of the White Stripes, and I've seen Jack White and I've seen him live in like any band that he's been in. I've seen him live. I've seen him with the Raconteurs, with the White Stripes. I've seen him solo. I've seen him with the Dead Weather. And every single time I've seen him, it's been the most amazing experience. And so that's why I will like always be a fan of his because he's never disappointed. I think I still like the Strokes, but part of the reason why my love kind of waned for the Strokes is because I went to a lot of their concerts where they would just be trashed and their fans kind of suck. And so, it was kind of disappointing because then you'd go to a White Stripe show and be like, everyone's rocking out and they're working so hard and doing such a good job and they appreciate us and they love us as fans. They understand what they're here for. And so that's why I'm still totally into the White Stripes and Jack White.
I wonder what that has to do. What was like Jack White's upbringing like? Because like the Strokes are children of privilege. Like
Mm-hmm.
their parents were loaded. Like,
Yeah.
so success to them was just like, well, this is our due, right? But what was Jack's White? What's Jack White come from?
Well, now I'll really show you my obsession. I knew that the Strokes were like that they had come from privilege, but it wasn't until I saw that Julian Casablancas' father has a documentary. There's a documentary about his father on Netflix that I was like, oh my, they had like real
His
money.
father
Like
owned a modeling agency, right?
yeah, yeah. And so they were just talking about, I mean, he went to like boarding school in Switzerland, and Albert Hammond Jr.'s dad, Albert Hammond, he was a famous
Yeah.
musician. And so, I mean, yeah, tons of money.
So
Jack,
is Albert Hammond Jr. is he John Hammond's grandson then? The record producer?
I don't know. I only know
Like,
his dad. I mean, his dad's obviously Albert Hammond, but the only song that I would know about Albert Hammond, I think, is like "To All the Girls I've Loved Before." I think that would be the only song that I'd
okay, all right. I'll have to
recognize.
do that research on my own. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. We can look it up. But well, I think, Jack, if anybody's been a fan of the White Stripes or been a fan of Jack White for a really long time, they know that like Jack White is very like flexible with the truth. It's like when the White Stripes first came out, they tried to market themselves as brother and sister,
Yep.
but they were really like a divorced couple.
Oh, I didn't know they were divorced already.
Yeah, I think they were divorced when their first album came out.
Uh-huh.
But I think that I read this like oral history that they did like a retrospective about one of the White Stripes. I think it was White Blood Cells a couple years ago, and they were saying that that like by the time that they started seriously getting some serious recognition, I think they had already made their first album, but the time the second album started gaining a little bit of traction, that they were already separated. And then when they blew up, they were divorced. So I think it was kind of like, this train is rolling. If we want this to happen, we have to find a way to make it work, even though we're not together anymore.
Right. And what has she done post White Stripes? Is she just laying low
She's
or?
a total recluse. That's actually part of the reason why they're not together anymore, because I mean, as a band, because during their last tour, she started experiencing really intense anxiety, and they had to cancel a couple of their tour dates because
Oh wow.
it was kind of like Brian Wilson with the Beach Boys, were just like, I can't go out on that stage anymore. I can't, even though we've been doing this for a really long time now, I can't just muster up what it takes to get out there right now. And then a little bit later, they ended up, officially breaking up. And I think since then, I think that she's just totally content with being a recluse. I think she lives in either Nashville or Detroit and just doesn't want to come out, doesn't want to be seen, doesn't want to be like, she's kind of like our JD Salinger, I guess.
Okay. So being that you're such a White Stripe fanatic, I had no idea I thought you were just a huge fan. I didn't know it was like this.
Didn't know my obsession.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you made have you made the pilgrimage to Nashville to Third Man Studios?
No, I really want, my friend, well, everybody knows my obsession with Jack White. So, I've had my friend has sent me, postcards because she has been to both. She's been to the Nashville one and the Detroit one. She says, in her opinion, the Detroit one is better. My cousin used to live in Nashville, so he'd send me like magazines and stuff that had Jack on them. But my prized possession is my brother used to work for this music ticketing company, and they had a hub in Nashville, and Jack White released this special vinyl for his singles. It's all of these acoustic singles that he did, and it's on this like shattered blue vinyl,
Oh my gosh.
and he only released it at the Nashville Third Man Records. So my brother, in like the best brother of all time move, called his contact in Nashville, and this guy went out and stood in line for me to get me that record. And so it's one
Wow.
of my prized possessions.
How many
Yes.
did they make?
I don't know how many they make, but it's a collector's item. Maybe I shouldn't have opened it, but it's
Open them, man.
yeah, it's so cool. And then um, usually for Christmas I'll get like a record from Third Man Records. So usually that's like a running Christmas order for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Third Man, there's a Billie Eilish Third Man record exclusive that they only sold
Oh,
at,
really?
at the store, and it like I looked it up on eBay, and it was going for like $2,000-3,000. Like
Oh my God.
I think there was only 500 of them, and what they did is like the album covers, they laid all the album covers out on the floor, and then Billie Eilish took a bucket of blue paint and a microphone and then just started just like splattering the covers.
Oh, that's so dope.
Yeah, so I watched this, I don't know what, you know how you just get on the internet and you don't even know how you
Yeah.
got there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I
So you
was
think I know so much about Meg White being a recluse?
so are you okay? The uh I saw the White Stripes at Coachella
Mm-hmm.
in
Oh,
2000,
nice.
and it was like when they weren't huge yet, like they had a buzz
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't even their set wasn't even at night. It was like it was still daylight.
It was
And
like in the Gobi tent at 12 o'clock.
no, it was still on the main stage, but it was during the day. It was daylight. And
Yeah.
let me tell you, we sat there just like I could not believe what I was watching. Like I could not believe the power that I was seeing come from two people. Like
Yeah.
it just blew me away.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And
Like I grew up in an evangelical household. And so we'd go to like these church revivals and stuff. And I would just see people like, when you watch something, it's like people catch the Holy Spirit. And, I'm a person of faith. I've converted to Catholicism since then. But at the time, it was like, well, I don't really understand what that feeling is. But then when you go to like, when I went to the White Stripes concert or I've seen Beyonce or Prince, like you feel that we're like, okay, this is now I understand what it was that those people were feeling, where it's just there's something inside you that like it's so rare to feel those emotions. I think part of my obsession is because I feel that way every single time that I've seen them live.
absolutely,
Hmm.
I 100% understand what you're talking about. And I'm
Yeah.
curious, how old were you the first time you saw the White Stripes? Like, were you
Let's
like,
see. I only saw the White Stripes one time, and it was for their Get Behind Me Satan tour. So I was like 19 or 20, and I saw them at the Greek Theater in Berkeley.
oh my
And it
gosh?
was and Otto Lux opened for them, and Carla Azur, who's an amazing drummer herself, she's in his Jack's solo band. She's
Uh-huh.
an amazing drummer. Um, my brother is like he likes the White Stripes, but he's not a super fan like me. So the last time Jack came by him on his solo tour, he came with me and he saw her drum and he was like so in love. He became like a huge fan of her because she's an amazing drummer too. Um, yeah, but it was a really amazing show. And Jack White's just like he's he started yelling at this guy jumped on the stage and he's like, everyone stop the show, look at that asshole, point at that asshole and tell that guy you're an asshole. And so this guy just was followed through the entire crowd and be like, you're an asshole, you're an asshole. And he just gets so mad. Or like, remember Live 105 was a popular, I don't know if it's still a popular Bay Area radio station, but they were doing like a beach ball, and the beach ball landed up on stage, and Jack White got so fucking mad that he got the beach ball and he's like, we're gonna take a 5-minute break, Live 105, and he took the beach ball back and you could hear him pop it. And I was just like so turned on. I was just like, he's so angry and I love it.
Yeah, that's what I always loved about Jack White, is that you would hear these stories. Like there'd be like pictures of him in Rolling Stone with like black
Mm.
eyes, and like he just like got into fights at bars, and he was just like he didn't give a
He's
fuck.
Oh
He,
my god, do you remember when he beat the shit out of that guy from the Von Bondies?
is that what it was?
Google Von Bondi's Jack White fight, and he fucked that guy up.
Why? Do you know why?
I think it was just like they were another Detroit band, and Jack White's like a competitive, crazy person, and that guy was just continuously talking shit, and they got in a fight.
I remember reading
But he went to
about
jail and stuff for it too.
that was that's the mugshot I must have seen, and he still had
Yeah,
a black eye. Like he still, like it was
yeah.
crazy. But I definitely think that in 2001, the Strokes
Mhm.
saved rock and roll. Like you're
Oh
absolutely,
yeah.
yeah, the Strokes saved rock and roll. They came along at the absolute right time when like grunge was done. We had no idea like the
It was
boy.
like the time where the boy band and like what's a new metal, like Limp Bizkit and Korn.
Yeah,
Those were the big bands at the time, and
then new metal got way too much than it deserved. Like Corn is great. Like I'm from Bakersfield, so Corn was
uh,
great, and I
yeah.
still love Corn. But I can't listen to an entire Corn album. I can listen. I can listen to like 3 songs of a Corn album, and I could appreciate it. And I've
Mhm.
seen them live a handful of times because you have to if you live in Bakersfield. Like you got to go see Corn.
Mhm.
Um, but it's just too. It's too heavy for me. Did
Yeah.
you did you say you saw Prince also?
I did. I saw Prince, um, and that was amazing.
Where? Tell me all about that.
I saw him in San Jose. No, not San Jose. At the Oakland Oracle,
Uh huh.
and he was so amazing. He played for like 2 hours.
Was
Everybody there was wearing purple. We wore purple too.
was it the solo piano tour or was it way before that? Like the last tour he did?
I don't. This was 2000. This would have been like 2009, 2008. Um,
Okay.
and he brought out like Sheila E. And she had like this golden crusted drum set that was dope. I think he made it for her. And I mean, yeah, it was amazing. I'm really happy that I got to experience that before. I've been really lucky in the sense that music has been such an important thing in my life that it's one of the little like splurges that I allow myself. If it As I get older, it's like I have to really, really love the performer in order to spend the money to go.
Yeah.
But the only artist that I have not seen is that I would still love to see, even though he's a giant pain in the ass, is Kanye. But all of my other heroes I've been able to, and probably Bob Dylan too. I haven't seen Bob Dylan,
Mm.
but
I'm so upset with myself for not going to the I could have gone to see the Kanye Jay-Z Watch the Throne.
oh man,
Like a bunch
yeah.
of my friends were going and I was like,
Hmm.
should I go? But I was like kind of like in the same boat where I was like, I'm I I'm not entirely sold on Kanye. No, I was no,
Is he
I
gonna show up? Is he,
exactly. I was more worried about is Kanye going to be Kanye than that. Like,
yeah,
I definitely acknowledge that Kanye is great. Like, he really
yeah,
is, and that he takes the chances and risks with like an entire album of like something different. Like, you got to give it to him. Like,
yeah.
he keeps changing.
Live Kanye or going to a live Kanye concert is like high risk, high reward. So you know that it's like there's a chance that he's not going to show up and that'll be horrible, but there's also a chance that he'll show up and just completely fucking deliver. So I don't know, but I mean, you got to roll the dice with that one.
Because he stopped the Sacramento concert,
Yeah,
right?
I think he was only out for like a couple of minutes.
Oh my gosh, I'd be so
Yeah.
mad. Yeah.
I'd be pissed. Well, that's the thing with the Strokes. Like, I do love the Strokes, but the last show I went to, they were just like totally drunk. Their security guard kept having to come out because I think Julian Casablanca, the lead singer, was just like spinning around the actual microphone stand and trying to get ready to launch it into the crowd.
Uh-huh.
And the security guard had to come out and be like, yo, dog, let's not like launch metal into a crowd full of people. And maybe you need a drink of water.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy was I think he like broke his leg because he jumped off of some amps off stage. And I mean, yeah, I love them, but then you're just like, are you going to be drunk and messy tonight, or are you going to be good and
Yeah, yeah.
deliver? So just kind
I
of,
think they're one of the bands that they were about to tour, weren't they? I think they were about to tour when.
yeah, they're about to do like their comeback tour.
I was definitely interested in that. I think
Mm-hmm.
I never got to see the Strokes. We had tickets. I'm going to tell the story, and my friend listens to this podcast.
Yeah.
She's going to hear this. That we were on our way. So I didn't grow up here. I grew up in Bakersfield.
Mm-hmm.
We were on our way to the Hollywood Bowl to see the Strokes and Tom Petty.
Oh my God.
And someone had a wild hair to like, hey, let's do mushrooms. And I was like,
Oh
well, and I
no.
was like, well, we don't have mushrooms, so we can't do mushrooms. And then we were already on the freeway, and they were like, well, we could probably get mushrooms from so and so. And I was like, guys, we're already on the freeway. We never know what LA traffic's gonna be like. And I was just outvoted in the car. Like it wasn't me like being logical. It was Jesse being a sissy, not wanting to do mushrooms. So we're gonna do it. They called the guy and he didn't answer his phone, but they're like, oh, he's got him. He's probably just at the store. By the time we get there, so we turn around, we backtrack, we go, the guy's not home. We don't get mushrooms. We park just in time to hear Jonathan say, thank you, good night. And
I would have been
miss
hot. I would have
we,
been mad.
we missed the Strokes.
I would have
And
been livid.
I couldn't believe it. And I'm still upset to this day about that. Tom Petty was amazing. Stevie Nicks came out and did like
Mm-hmm.
half the night with Tom Petty.
Oh my God. Well,
Yeah.
it wasn't a total loss
No,
then.
it wasn't, but we did not get to see the Strokes.
God.
So
Well,
I'm a
maybe it was
little
one of those nights that they were drunk assholes and didn't do a
maybe
good job.
I'm a little bit worried about so the White Stripes box set is supposed to get not it's the greatest hits, right?
Right.
It's released December 4th, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when do you think we'll get it? Like, do you think we'll get it December 4th or do you think we'll get it December 6th?
I don't know.
You've been in the Third Man Club before, right? Like, the
Yeah.
Vault. What's it called? It's called the Vault, right?
The vault, yeah. I would think it would probably be here on the 6th because I think that they try to do like good customer service. But I mean, what's really nice about that is because I got there, they did a vault package of like live White Stripes. That was the last vault package that I got, and I ordered that one in like August, and it didn't come until almost it came like in December. So I don't know. We'll see, because Beyonce also released her Homecoming on vinyl, and I'll have that, so it's going to be really happy December for me.
So what's Beyonce's Homecoming? Is it a live concert or is it an album?
Yeah, the set that she did for the Netflix at Coachella. She made a documentary of her set at Coachella,
Okay.
and it's the set that she did at Coachella, and she calls it
Including
Homecoming.
including the reunion stuff with
Destiny's Child.
I almost said In Vogue, but I knew that was so
Yeah, I think it's the whole thing. Well, because of the CD, or the CD is out and it has all of it.
Yeah. I saw you freaking out on the gram or Facebook one day about Beyonce.
Oh yeah, last year, not this year, but last year I made the homecoming outfit that she wears in the beginning. That was my Halloween costume.
Oh wow. How did that go over? Well,
I
everybody
loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
That's awesome.
It was like I worked really hard on it. It was awesome. It was great.
So I'm worried that the White Stripes album's not. So I'm leaving town on December 4th to go spend Christmas at my mom's house in Bakersfield. So I'm gonna be gone like from December 4th till December 25th. So I think it's gonna arrive. I contemplating having it shipped to my mom's house. But then I won't have a record player at my mom's house. So
yeah,
I'm gonna.
Do you have a roommate that can bring?
Yeah. My roommate's gonna be here.
Oh, okay. You're just worried about listening to it.
I'm just worried about getting to play with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can. I mean, if you want to just listen to the track listing, you can always use it on like iTunes and stuff. But it's not the same as listening to it on the record player.
It's not the same. So
yeah.
If it comes, I think you need to do an unboxing video.
Okay.
Because I'm dying because the box has so much cool stuff.
You know what? You should. I'll look at that. But yesterday on the Instagram too, I don't. Maybe I shouldn't say this out loud because I don't want to compete with anybody else. But they're gonna release like all of these little White Stripes like special things related to the album only at certain independent record stores on the 4th.
Oh
So
wow.
if you find one that's like either on the way to Bakersfield or in Bakersfield, there's going to be some in LA for sure. So,
Yeah.
but it's on the 4th. And so I think I'm going to try to take the day off and drive up to Amoeba in San Francisco and see if I can score one of the posters that they're going to release.
Oh, Armadillo Records in Davis gets some cool stuff too. Like
Yeah.
when they do those independent releases, Armadillo in Davis,
Mm-hmm.
Kicksville Vinyl in Sac,
Yeah.
and Phono
Oh, I
Select
have a
Vinyl.
Kicksville vinyl. I'm gonna write that down. I haven't been. The third band released what record stores they're gonna be giving them to.
Oh, they already did.
So it
Oh,
was like 2 stores in Oakland, 1 store. I was hoping that they would release something in Sac,
uh-huh.
but it's Amoeba and 1, 2, 3, 4 records in San Francisco, Amoeba in San Francisco, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 records in Oakland.
Oh, okay,
And then
okay.
1 store in Nevada, and then of course LA.
Amoeba in LA, or did Amoeba in LA shut down?
If I don't remember, if you go to the site, it'll tell you which stores. There's one in LA, but I don't remember which one because I didn't bother looking.
Right on, right on.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the track listing of the album? Is it perfect? Is there something that they left off?
Um, I think. See, I'm looking at it right now. I love how they start and how they finish. Finishing with Seven Nation Army. Well, that's how he finishes all of his concerts anyway, with Seven Nation Army. Which is perfect because that's the one that everybody knows.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows that song. See, I'm looking at it now. I think it's good. I like that he's including Jolene on that. No, that's from the live album. I think everything is good. There's one song from Elephant called Black Math, and that's one of my absolute favorite White Stripes songs. So I'm like, wow, Black Math's not on there, but I realized that that's just because it's my favorite.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't have to be on everyone else's, but I think they got all of the bangers on there.
And were they talking about the greatest hits for a while? Was it a complete surprise that a greatest hits got released?
I'm trying to think, like, I'm not as in depth as I once was when I was younger.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. I mean, maybe I was kind of surprised, but it's also kind of like I feel like this is their way of saying like we're never getting back together, you guys.
Oh, do
So
you think so?
I don't think Meg White is interested at all. And Jack White's actually kind of like talked a little bit of shit about her. Not talk
Oh.
shit, but like basically was just saying that, their relationship maybe was a little bit tumultuous, especially at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And that I think that she's just kind of like, I traveled the world, I made money. And I think that Jack White is also very like, he's got to be an intense person. And comedians that are intense people and they're not for it, like you can't be too sensitive to be around them because their intensity. Like I know comedians like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure it's the exact same thing with rock stars where it's like their intensity can be a little draining for people, especially if you're a little sensitive. So she's like, I put up with your ass for almost 20 years. I've traveled the world with you. We've made music. I don't want to do it anymore. You're going to be totally fine without me. I'm ready to just be a quiet person,
So when he tours now, did he retire like the White Stripes catalog? Does he still do the White
He's
Stripes? Because when I saw him in 2013,
mm-hmm.
and he did not do any White Stripes stuff. Like but it's the album that he won a Grammy with. It was in 2013 or 2012, and he did not do any White Stripes material. So has that been true when you've seen him?
When he is with the Dead Weather or the Raconteurs, he does not. But when he's doing his solo stuff, he does.
Okay. All right.
So I've seen him do White Stripes stuff when he's doing, and I think it's because he's like, well, I wrote this shit. These are my songs, so I might as well. But he doesn't do them with like, he doesn't do them when he's like performing with his other bands.
I did you watch I'm sure you watched the Saturday Night Live performance. Did you watch it more than once?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I didn't catch this, but Bill Burr mentioned it on his podcast. Bill Burr said that Jack White did a nod to Eddie Van Halen halfway through, like during the solo of the second song. Did you catch that?
I think it was like Eddie Van Halen had like a picking style.
It was like a certain riff, right? Or a
like
certain
it's
sound?
the way that he like picked his guitar. And I think that I think I read it on his Instagram or something that the guitar that he was playing was either like the same style of Eddie Van Halen or that Eddie Van Halen had it was something about the guitar had something to do with Eddie Van Halen.
So he acknowledged it.
Yeah. And then I think the way that he was like the style that he was playing was like an Eddie Van Halen style.
Were you a huge Van Halen fan at all, or just kind of like?
No, I don't know. I don't know much about their music.
Really?
Well, because some of that stuff, like with rock and roll, I had to find a lot of that stuff for myself. That's why when I found the White Stripes and the Strokes, it was such a big deal for me because it opened up this window to all of this music. So it wasn't like, oh, my mom and dad used to listen to the Velvet Underground, and now I do. It was like, oh, who's the Velvet Underground, or who are the Ramones, and all this stuff, because I grew up listening to like Motown music, and my parents really like funk music or Rolls Royce or that kind of stuff. That was like what I grew up listening to. So like I guess I just never really tapped into that whole catalog from the 80s of rock music like Van Halen or whoever their peers are.
Right on. So that's what because I was about to ask, what did your parents listen to? Yeah. So it was like kind of like that 70s funk, that whole.
Yeah, my parents really love like 70s funk, a little bit of hip hop, like early hip hop. Huge Motown music is huge. I was listening to the Supremes actually before I came here. That was kind of like our thing. Anything that you'd find on like lowrider oldies stuff or things that they would listen to, like East Side Stories compilations or
Oh my God, do you remember those East Side Story compilations?
Yes. I used to work at Rasputin and we had an East Side Story. It was all of the East Side Stories and it came with like a little lowrider car.
Oh my, was it on CD? It was on CD?
They were CDs, yeah.
Which Rasputin did you work at, in Berkeley?
No, I worked at the one in Stockton.
Oh, there was a Rasputin in Stockton?
Yeah. It closed down, I think, a year ago to move to Modesto. But it was a Tower Records for a really long time, and then Tower Records closed down. It was bought by Rasputin, and then it was 2007 when I worked there.
And how long did you work there? Did you work
I worked there for 2 years because I was in college, and so I worked through college, and then when I left, I got to go work at my like grown-up job after that.
Did you love working there? I worked at a record store too, and it was the greatest time of my life.
I loved working there. In the very first year that I worked there was awesome. I met some great people, got exposed to a lot of really good music. Then the last year that I was there were like 2 people that just made life horrible because they were super mean. So I was happy to leave at that point. But it is fun listening. It's at the end of the day, you're still working retail, but it was fun to like listen to something, or because everybody got to pick like 2 CDs to put into the CD player every week, and so you would have to hear everybody on staff's like picks because they would just sort of like load in 30 CDs and then play everything at random. So you'd be like, what the fuck is this? And then someone would be like, well, that's whatever that person was listening to at the time. So it exposed you to a lot of different music.
Do you think that you had like one particular CD that you picked the most
to play into?
Like when it came on, everybody was like, wow, this is Rhoda's pick.
It was usually like White Stripes, Strokes, yes, the garage rock kind of. Oh yeah, I was a huge yes.
Did you see them?
I did, yes.
Where'd you see them?
I saw them at Bimbo's,
Mm-hmm.
which is an awesome venue in San Francisco, and I saw them at it was like a Live 105 festival.
Oh, those are the best.
Yeah. Um and that's the one of the shows that I regret not going to, and I was living in San Francisco at the time, was when they played the Fillmore and
Okay.
they filmed it.
Have you been to the Fillmore?
Yes. I
Bunches
love
of
the
times.
Fillmore.
I've
Yes.
never been to the Fillmore. Who
What?
just
Oh my god,
well,
you have to go.
I didn't grow up out here. So like I've been to like the House of Blues. I've been to like the Hollywood Bowl. I've been to the Greek in LA. Like I've been to all of those venues, but
Those
like
places are cool.
I haven't been to like the iconic like I've never been to the Greek. I've never been to the Berkeley Greek. I've never been to that
Uh-huh.
one. I've never been. Is the Fillmore even still open?
I hope so. I think. I mean, it's a land. It's like one of those places I've seen so much history. I do have like, maybe you have the same thing. Like I have a list of like a bucket list of venues that I would love to go see shows in.
Uh huh.
So one of them is like the Hollywood Bowl. I've never been. I've
Oh.
never been to the Greek either
Uh
in
huh.
in LA. I would love to go to see something in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like, what is it? The Carnegie Hall.
Okay.
Um, there's this place called Red Rocks in
Yeah.
Colorado.
Where U2 did their famous. Well,
I
U2's that show. Like the famous Red Rock shows are like U2, Dave Matthews,
mm-hmm.
John Tesh.
Yeah, I would love to go to Red Rocks. I did get to go to the Crystal Ballroom in Portland. I saw Spoon there.
Oh wow.
That was awesome. So I like I have a list of like a bucket
A
list of
bucket list.
venues that I'd love to see live shows at. Um, so hopefully someday I'll be able to do that.
My bucket so like my bucket list was never kind of like that, but like what I always wanted was like I always wanted to see a band in their hometown. Like I always wanted to like I always wanted to see U2 in Ireland or like
Yeah, that would be amazing.
I mean, I guess I did get to see like Rage Against the Machine in Los Angeles. Like that was amazing. Like it
Hmm.
was my dream to see the Beastie Boys at Madison Square Garden. Like that's what I absolutely wanted to do. And like
Yeah.
that's kind of not going to happen, I guess.
Yeah.
But what's like some of the great shows you've seen at the Fillmore?
Let's see. Um, I'm trying to think. What have I seen? I've been to a lot of shows at the Fillmore. I'm trying to think. Oh my God, I have to go I have to go get my like tickets. Do you save your tickets?
No, I have a
Oh.
handful of like my mid '90s tickets.
Uh-huh.
I was just going through them the other day. No, they're not even. They're like yeah, they're like early 2000s, late '90s.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I like my concert because like I'm a lot older than you. I'm an old man.
I don't, you're probably not that much older than me.
I'm almost 50. I'm 49. So
Oh,
like,
okay.
so you're like, oh yeah, you are a lot.
No, not that much. I'm 35, so it's
Okay, all right. So like my concert going days started like in 1992,
mm-hmm.
and we're going strong like all through the 90s. And then like as I got older, like it's like I don't know, I kind of still went to a lot of shows, but it was like with less frequency because like they just started getting crazy expensive.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying because when I was like in my 20s before, I got married and had a kid, like we were going out like two concerts a week, maybe one or two concerts a week, and we would love to hang out at this place in San Francisco called Pop Scene, and I was a total hipster. Um I was probably super unbearable in my 20s. But we
Everybody
would
is.
see, yeah, like we got to see some really cool. The one I regret that I flaked on my friends, they saw Amy Winehouse at Pop Scene, which is literally a pizza place. It's
Oh my
literally a pizza place
gosh.
that closes down and becomes a dance club after hours. So it was very hipster. But I guess that she was just like really, really fucked up and didn't do a great job. But I do regret not going to that one, but we saw I don't know if you remember like the band Voxtrot. They had kind of that one big hit that didn't sound like the rest of their music. And
No, I don't remember that.
I saw Albert Hammond Jr. there.
Uh-huh.
But to answer your question, sorry, at Fillmore, it's been such a long. The Fillmore is great, and I don't know if they'll still do this after the pandemic, but everybody gets if the show sells out at the Fillmore, you get a poster, and you get an apple. And so it's a huge deal if everyone gets a poster if the show sells out. So that's always something awesome.
And an apple. I never heard about that.
Yeah, it's like everyone, they just have like big bushels of apples everywhere.
I've heard of like the iconic Fillmore posters because like I see them on eBay all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So I have like Feist. I don't know if you know Feist.
Heard of them. Yeah.
Feist, Broken Social Scene. I've seen them. You know who I saw at the Fillmore that was so awesome, but a bunch of douchebags totally ruined it, was the Dan Band.
Oh wow!
How
fun was that?
The Dan Band was okay. Here's the thing: I'm still mad at that because the Fillmore is awesome because it's a tiny venue. Like I saw Ben Queller there, the Unicorns there. It's fun, and it's really beautiful inside. It's like, you know, when they talk about like, I don't know, there's just something about it that's like really cool. And you walk up and you see everybody that's ever been there. So you see pictures of like Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, the White Stripes are up there. You just see all of this history, Bob Dylan, all of this history since, you know, the 70s and I think it's the 70s as far back as it goes, maybe mid to late 60s. And so you're just kind of like surrounded with all of this history. You're like, wow, this is crazy. And the Dan Band comes out and they're so good. They are awesome. They have these like super fun dance routines and they have all these like super fun songs and they're partying and everyone's just in the mood to party. But the people in the front row were these like the biggest assholes, and they only stopped and shut the fuck up when they started singing Turn Around. What is it? Turn Around, Bright Eyes.
Yeah.
The
totally
one that they
heart, right?
totally close to the heart.
Yeah.
No. I need you. I fucking need you more. Whatever song that they sing on Old School. Yeah, totally Clips of the Heart.
The title just doesn't sound right though.
I know it doesn't.
Like I'm
it's
doubting
like,
myself.
So I need you now. Tonight.
But we know we're in agreement that it's that song.
Yeah. That was the only time that they would shut the fuck up and listen to the song. So I'm like, why do you come up here and stand in the front row and ruin it for everybody that actually wants to experience the hard work that they're actually putting in? You know, like he could have easily just come out and been like super drunk and stupid and nobody would have thought twice about it because that's what you expect. But they actually were really talented musicians, super fun, and had these like little dance routines, and they sang all of these super fun songs that you would not like. They sang Single Ladies by Beyonce and stuff, and the people in the front just totally ruined it.
They only do songs by women. They only cover women's songs.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's their thing.
They did tons of songs. They did, they played "You Ought to Know" by Alanis Morissette. They did such a good job, but the people in front just ruined it, so I was irritated.
That sucks.
Yeah,
that sucks.
But if you ever, I'd see that they play like Reno and Vegas sometimes, so I would highly recommend because that's such a good party.
I think I've seen like they've played like Ace of Spades and like here in town.
Yeah, I would say I wish I could go back and see them like at a venue that was, you know, kind of grittier because, you know, sometimes those are a little bit funner to party at. But.
Did COVID take away any concert plans you had? Like, did you have concert tickets already for anything and then it got shut down?
I think. No.
That's good.
The only thing that really bummed me out was I had won a comedy competition and I was supposed to perform in Vegas. So I was getting like, and I had the opportunity to go in February, but it was Super Bowl weekend and I couldn't find like anyone to watch my kid. And so I was supposed to go in March and then everything shut down. So that was really the only thing that I was like really bummed about because I was looking forward to performing in Vegas for the first time.
How long have you been doing comedy?
I started doing comedy 5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And have you been doing it nonstop or did you take any breaks?
This is kind of the biggest break that I've taken. I've been doing it off and on this year for obvious reasons. Mm-hmm. Every once in a while I'll take like a couple of weeks off, but I would say especially the last like 3 years I've been doing probably like 1 or 2 shows a week.
Oh man.
Up until this point, but
You think
We'll
it'll be
get back out
normal?
there.
You think it'll be normal by like I'm thinking like by like April, May, it's gonna be kind of normal-ish.
I mean, it depends on if this vaccine can get figured out, and it depends on if, I think between now and then, the only like scary thing is like if more venues start closing down.
Uh-huh.
But I'm hoping that the new administration that's supposed to come in is going to be good on their promise and do their best to keep from people from losing more than they've already lost. But we'll see.
Were you high anxiety the days leading up to the election and the election and the maybe like the 1 or 2 days afterwards? Because like I couldn't even sleep.
And honestly, I'm still like, I think I'm not gonna. I definitely was super stressed out, and there's a part of me that will stay stressed out until it's like January 20th.
Really?
So I'm just like, what kind of shit is he gonna try to pull? And there's like a little part of me that thinks he's just gonna do everything he can to make it like you can do a lot of damage in 2 months.
Yeah,
you know
I was telling a friend of mine, I was like, he's definitely not getting back the security deposit at the White House. Like, he's gonna
well,
just.
I think a lot of us are like, first question, are they gonna have to drag his ass out kicking and screaming?
Um,
And two, are they gonna fucking prosecute him?
yeah, I think I read the other day that someone that used to work for him is anticipating that he won't return to the White House after he goes to Mar-a-Lago for Christmas. He's anticipating that he won't ever return to the White House after Christmas. So,
I mean,
uh,
I hope
so
so. I mean,
that'll.
it would be in reality, it's like, okay, well, if all you want to do now is just golf, just let him golf.
Yeah,
What else is he gonna do? He wasn't doing anything about COVID to begin with.
yeah,
I'm just like, just go golf
yeah.
until you have to be evacuated.
Yeah, I felt like we've been on our own this entire pandemic. Like we just like it's been up to the states, it's been up to the counties, it's been up to the cities to like just kind of regulate themselves and just do their
Hmm.
best to get through it. And hopefully,
Yeah.
like you said, hopefully this new administration will kind of come in. They're gonna have to sage the fuck out of the White House and
I don't know. There's part of me that wonders if as a country we're going to just really have to come to terms with the fact that like we're gonna have some serious PTSD. Like have you heard of like what is it called? It's like Trump derangement syndrome.
no, I haven't heard that. Is
Yeah, it's Trump derangement syndrome where it's kind of two thoughts. One, like everybody's blaming every single problem on the government on Trump, which a lot of people will acknowledge that that's not true.
mhm.
Like Trump is the embodiment of all of the problems that came before him.
Yeah.
He's just the one that brought it like in front of everybody's face.
Mhm.
But I think it's just also that he's always doing something fucking crazy, or that his administration is always doing something so blatantly illegal and crazy that all of us are constantly glued to the news like, what the fuck did he do and say now?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, what in come in January, what is it going to be like when we don't have to? I mean, and Joe Biden has certainly gotten some brownie points from me in terms of like how it started and how it ended as far as my opinion of Joe Biden. But having to worry that he's just going to be a blatant liar about everything, I think we're not going to know what to do with ourselves when we're not constantly saying like, what did dumb fuck do today?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Hopefully we can get back to kind of normal and we'll I'm curious what like 20 years from now, like what the history books are going to say about this and like what's going to be taught in like high school history about like what transpired or like
yeah.
what truths will come out if we'll ever really know like
Yeah.
entirely like
What we're
I don't know.
seeing is so bad anyway. I'm just like, what kind of crimes against humanity that you're like giving hysterectomy to young women that are in these concentration camps, and you now have created over 700 orphans, and that's some heavy shit for us to think about on a regular basis, like are these families ever going to be reunited, and how did we allow ourselves to get to this point?
Yeah.
You know, and it's
Yeah.
like, I think we all have to kind of think about that moving forward, but hopefully we don't let it happen again.
Right. Yeah.
We'll see.
Hopefully. We'll see. We'll see. Man, Rhoda, this hour flew by, and
Okay. Sorry if I talked your ear off.
no, and like it's just like I don't know, like it's great. Like we talked about the White Stripes for an hour. Like,
I could talk. I was like, I didn't even answer your original question of what Jack White's background's like. Fine.
I don't know. It's not like look at.
And Penelope's like, yes, it's time for a snack.
Yeah, she's like, I want to go outside. I thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's fun to talk
Yeah.
about music with people.
It's fun talking about music with people that like kind of know what they're talking about. Like you like very much know what they're talking about, because like not everyone is as enthusiastic about music as us. So
Yeah.
I often find myself like just trying to explain a lot more than just share.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I get that.
it was a treat. Looking forward to our podcast coming out about Almost Famous.
Yes.
So no pressure
Thanks.
on that.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for coming by, and
Sure.
and I'll talk to you soon.
Stay safe.
You too. Bye.